Hi, I'm WCJ, and in today's video we will be going over the Enduring Enchantment deck from Commander Masters. When it comes to this video, I will be not going over the deck in its entirety. If you want to see the deck in its entirety, it will be linked down below. When it comes to this deck, I'll be doing it with the Commander, the Sub-Commander, and then each section of the deck, giving my thoughts and opinions on the cards and talking about the best cards in my opinion or cards worth mentioning. So let's start this off with the Commander, and the Commander is Anithkia, Hand of Erebos. For 2 white, black and a green, you get a legendary enchantment creature, demigod, that is a mythic. She has Menace. Other enchantment creatures you control have Menace. Whenever Akithia enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 tagging non or enchantment card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of the card except for it's a 3/3 black zombie creature token in addition to its other types, and she's a 4/4. I find this to be a very interesting commander and a very unique commander, and I'm really excited to actually see this being played. I do think overall this commander can do really cool things. My only problem with it seems to be make a zombie token army and nothing really else, but I still think it will be a good commander. And then with every commander there is a sub-commander, and the sub-commander is Narcy, Fable Singer. For 1 white, black and a green, you get a legendary creature, human bard, that is a mythic. She has lifelink. Whenever you sacrifice an enchantment, draw a card. Whenever the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the saga's mana value, and she's a 3/3. When it comes to this, any card that says it gives me life and also has lifelink, there's 2 ways of this card to gain life, is a really good card. To be honest, I always prefer, or majority of the time prefer, the sub-commander over the commander. And this is one of those cards that I prefer way more. However, I do think this would be better in a different type of deck, and this being the sub-commander. Or this being in the 99, sorry. But now starting with the actual main parts of the deck, starting with creatures. In this deck there's 28 creatures in total, which does make sense because it is an enchantment heavy deck. Enhance the name, but when it comes to these creatures, a lot of them are rather with ETBs of enchantments or make enchantments cost less, and actually there are a lot of good enchantment creatures and they all seem to be here. My only problem when it comes to this is I don't really know many enchantment creatures that people don't have. This seems to be, in the creature side anyway, a deck that most people can make with the bulk rares, or bulk rares of people that they know like other people have. But here are some of the creatures that I like on screen now. Synthis Harvester's Hand, Starfield Mystic, Archon of Sun's Grace, Heliod God of the Sun, Ondu Spirit Dancer, Erebos Bleak-Hearted, Doomwake Giant, Demon of Fate Design, Composer of Spring, Herald of the Pantheon, Sanctum Weaver, Courser of Crucifix, Dryhard of the Elysian Grove, Setessan Champion, Venduran Enchantress, Arasta of the Endless Web, Edolan of Blossoms, Nyxborn Behemoth. And now we're on to the Planeswalkers of the deck. When it comes to this deck, there is 1 Planeswalker, and I know there is a Planeswalker deck in this section. However, when I seen this deck, I was like, this has to be in it or it is not going to be good. I think, even though I know the other 2 that are not the Planeswalkers deck don't have Planeswalkers in them, or they might, I'm pretty sure they don't. This, I think, had to be in it because it is an amazing enchantment Planeswalker, and I can't wait to see more of them. I think they're actually dead, I could be wrong there, but if they ever do make a card of this, I do think it'll be really good, and here he is on screen now. Calyx, Destiny's Hand. And now we are on to the sorcerers of the deck. When it comes to the sorcerers of the deck, there is 5 in total, but 3 of them are ramps. I'm only going to be mentioning the other 2, and them 2 are Culling Ritual, Extinguish All Hope. When it comes to this, I'm kind of for a, what they keep calling a pristine, or like a better thing. The fact that there's a Kadama's Reach and other, like the ramp that everyone has that you also get in the normal ones, I'm not the biggest fan of, but the other 2 spells are quite alright. And then next are the instances of the deck, and again they are giving everyone path. I personally have 5 Paths of Exile in my folders, never mind what's in the deck. I know most people have a Path of Exile in all their decks, or majority of their decks, and then also still have spares. They need, like, Path of Exile is a card that everyone has bulks of. Literally, Soul Ring, Path of Exile, Swords of Plowshare, and a fair, like, op as well. If I went to any group chat, any Discord, any Magic Gathering chat, and went, I'm looking for one for a new deck, I could easily get 20. Like, easily. I'm kind of sick of these cards, especially since this is a Preem, like, thing, but they keep doing it. Wizards is going to do what Wizards want. So I'm going to go right onto the artifacts. So I know this is an enchantment heavy deck, but when it comes to artifacts, there is two. A Soul Ring and a Signet. Again, they keep trying to pump this up and then they just still give us majority of the basics with a sprinkling of extra stuff than what you would get in a normal Commander thing. I'm not the biggest fan of the artifacts of this deck. So again, let's just go straight on to the main bulk, the enchantments. When it comes to the enchantments of this deck, there is 25 in total. Having a quick skim over them and what they do, there is a good fair few of them that I thought would not be in it, especially for originally I thought the price was only going to be like 60. I didn't think there was going to put in, but it's in there. There is a good fair few enchantments, especially in these colors. A very fair or very few famous enchantment sagas and stuff like that, and enchantments in general. The enchantments seem to be the main focus and where a majority of the money and cards are in. But when it comes to these type decks, I like them sprinkled everywhere, but you don't get what you want all the time. So here are the enchantments that I think are good or worth talking about on screen now. Battle of Bentragard, Miara's Wake, Grasp of Fate, Fildar Retreat, Boon on the Spirit Realm, Single of the Empty Throne, Starfield of Nyx, Battle at the Hell Vault, Dreadhorde Invasion, Cunning Retonic, Ghoulish Impentance, Canopy Unleashed, Enchantress's Presence, The Mending of Dominaria, Abundance, Sandworm Convergence. And now we are on to the lands in this deck. There is 37 lands in total, and again, I'm not happy with the lands. It seems to be the only one that has a mediocre to good land base is the Planeswalker deck, and that's because it mainly has filter lands, which are quite good. I'm not the biggest fan of the lands when it comes to any of these decks, except the Planeswalker ones. That's what I was picturing from the start. I wasn't picturing like all the really expensive lands. Filters have gone down to like a good like majority will have some of them, and it is worth it, especially the price you're paying. But when it comes to this one, I'm not the biggest fan. But there are some lands that I would like to mention, and here they are on screen now. Canopy Vista, Four-Tiered Village, Necro Blossom Schnarl, Shine Shadow Schnarl, Sandsep Citadel, Sungrass Prairie, Tainted Field, Tainted Wood, Temple of Melody, Temple of Plenty, Temple of Silence. So my overall thoughts of this deck. To be honest, I think it is the weakest out of the three I've gone through, and I have looked at the Eldrazi one, and I do think personally it is the weakest out of them all. Unless you're an enchantment lover player, I don't recommend getting this at all. The lands, the artifacts, the instants and sorceries are meh. The creatures and enchantments are good, and they're on the level I was roughly thinking of, but the rest just kind of plummets the deck down. So if there are a handful of cards you want, I recommend just getting them as singles or asking your local game shop or friends or friend groups if anyone has any spares, especially if you're looking for another like Soul Ring, Arcade Signet, or Swords of Plowshare or whatever. I don't think this is good. I think it would be better to just get the Commander in. I think you can get them in the packs or buy it as a single and make your own version of the deck. Roughly the same price, you could probably make a better deck in my honest opinion. But as always, let me know what you think of this deck in the comments down below. While you're down there, remember to like and subscribe and follow me on all my social media, and I will see you all in the next video. Also, if you like this one, I have the Planeswalker one here, a playlist of Is Something in Magic Gathering Worth It here, and a subscribe button here. It really does help out, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.